Hey everybody, this is your brother, Narada, Michael Walden. Welcome to All In, my podcast where we break down music, life, and love, interviews and conversations. Let's get into it.
So much of what we learn, you and I, man, with Sritchin Moy is so applicable today, with helping humans crystallize their existence.
Yes, brother.
Because a lot of people are hitting a brick wall right now, psychologically, physically, financially, and a lot of people are hitting the brick wall. And because it's an accumulation of like tartar or plaque or sediment. I like the creme always rises to the top. So there's creme de la creme, and then there's sediment. Sediment always goes down. It's funny, Narada, because when you're in a swimming pool, and your kids find out this really quick. When you're in a pool, if you're happy, you float.
That's right.
If you're with fear, you sink. And it's just one thought or the other that allows you to either float or sink, man. Fear is like sediment. It's woe is me, poor little like that, And ever since I first heard you, because Sritchin Moy, he kind of warned me, in a beautiful way. He says, wait till you hear this, this new musician, he's like a fire hydrant. He's like a fire hydrant. He says, yeah, when you open up a fire hydrant in Harlem and it splashes and the kids scream with glee because it's hot in the summer and the water hits them, that's Narada playing a solo. And I was like, damn, I got to meet this Narada, this Michael Walden,
Thank you. So sweet. What a great story.
Brother Carlos, I'm so happy you're here today. And thank you so much for your love and your compassion and your generosity and your beautiful divine music. I mean, you're the cat's meow, man. And we just love you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. Reflection of your light. I love you for the same reasons, man. I have such deep respect and admiration for you as a light, spirit, and soul. And I keep saying to people, look, this is who you are first and foremost, before you were Apache or Mexican or Irish or African. Before you were all these things, you were first light, spirit, and soul. Mm-hmm. Those three don't need chicken soup. So don't sell books about chicken soup for the soul. First of all, that's bullshit, man. Your soul, your spirit, and your light, they're indestructible. They don't need chicken soup. Your ego needs chicken soup.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Well, this might be a good time to come on to the book that you just brought this morning. It's incredible about plant.
Yeah.
Plant strong, and how important it is that we don't eat chicken soup, we eat the plants.
Yeah. Where we are today, most of us are realizing that it's catching up with us, man. All the things that we ate all these years created plaque. And it's bad for your heart, and so they either put stems or they have to have open surgery. And so the good news for everybody out there is that you can reverse. Mm-hmm. You don't have to hit the brick wall and get a heart attack. Change your diet, change your life. Wow. I swear you're going to have 10 times more energy, you'll be more vibrant. And then there's books, 4, 5, 6, 7 different, maybe 10 books about hundreds of diets. I mean, hundreds of recipes that are delicious, So I found out that I needed to change my whole, because my father, my ex-wife's father, Deborah, S.K., my brother, George, a lot of people that I know, a lot of men, they hit the brick wall with this disease, yourself and myself. So if it seems like I'm promoting a whole new energy, vibrancy of, and it has to do with change your mind, change your destiny, and once you, with divine determination decide to change your diet, you're going to find out that you have more to present to God, people in the world, as far as energy and inspiration and vision and creativity.
Yes.
That to me is what it's about, man. When I seen your interview that you did with John McLaughlin, I really learned a lot from it. And so I made a conscious decision even more to speak only about things that there are uplifting, things that there are elevating, things with enthusiasm, vibrant things that when other people say, well, I want what he got.
Yeah.
Well, where did you get what you got? I says, I was born with it, just like you. It's just that I was programmed negatively not to believe in my divinity. They programmed me like everybody else that you're a wretched sinner, not worthy of your own light. You're full of poo, and only Jesus got the toilet paper.
Got it.
And I'm like, well, wait a minute, This is why when I first met you, you and I, we seeked a different ideology.
Yes.
And because of our ideology, when other musicians hear us, they start looking at your drums or my amplifier or my guitar, and I go, it's not the guitar and the drums, man. It's Narada and me. It's who we are inside. Yeah. And when it comes out, it has a different kind of impact. Impact enough that Buddy Guy or Eric Clapton or Eric Gales, the greatest musicians, they look at you and they know that you're bringing something different to the table. To be accepted and embraced by Herbie Hancock and John McLaughlin and Wayne, it gives you confidence.
Yes, it does.
So
let me ask you the same question that I asked Mahavishnu. I said to him that we love you so much, we're so fond of you. How have you been able to maintain your level of inspiration through these years? The same we feel for you. The love and fondness is so powerful. We say, how have you maintained your level of inspiration for these years? It's powerful. What would you say about that?
I say grace,
Yeah.
Grace is my GPS, man.
Yeah.
And I thank God for passion. I thank God for fire. I thank God for, some people might squirm or get uncomfortable, but I thank God that I'm thirsty, hungry, and horny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because all of it has to do with energy. Right. And it's how you direct your energy and what you do with it. A person without passion, a person who's not horny anymore, and it's you're just an empty vessel. You must arouse, that thirst for adventure. You, John McLaughlin, Herbie Hancock, musicians that I love, they're not afraid to hug the unknown and hang around with unpredictability. So you constantly give birth to Narada. I constantly give birth to Carlos. I'm not a little me. There's no little me. There's no little, because you're not a victim and I'm not a victim. So what keeps me inspired is to constantly dip into my own divinity.
Yes.
I discovered lately a chant that I say from Hawaii, Ho'oponopono. The chant is like, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you. No, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. You say that over and over and over and over. And just like we're talking about cleaning the arteries in your heart from plaque, then you're cleaning the erroneous memories.
Can you please say that one more time so it's a little slower? We can say it together with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you.
You say that over and over for 15 minutes straight. By the time you finish, you become a very a magnet that attracts immediate abundance, immediate, like Herbie Hancock says, possibilities, positive possibilities. So where I am now, besides the music, it's like I'm able to motivate myself and other people around me to comprehend and own. When God said, it gives me great pleasure in giving you the keys to the kingdom, that's not saying it's easier for a camel to go to the eye of a needle than a rich man to get to heaven. No, that's not correct. That's a lie. Because it gives God good pleasure to give you the keys to the kingdom, which is abundance.
Right. But see, now this is really important because we don't always feel or think about this so much, that we're given the keys to the kingdom. This is really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a whole new, fresh energy then.
Yeah. Creativity, inspiration, like when I go to Europe and I visit the Picasso Museum, and there's different floors. One floor is just for when he just painted blue, the blue period, or when he did Cubism. And same thing with Miles, kind of blue, or Mahavishnu when he did My Goes Beyond, or the music with yourself and the symphony. It's wonderful for me to watch musicians unfold and give birth to themselves in a whole new, courageous way. Mm-hmm. That's what keeps you young.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
A thirst for adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah. Your beautiful wife, Cindy, who is so incredible. First of all, let me just say, what an outstanding drummer, and what light and love she brings to your life. And you guys together are incredible. I'm so taken by her ability when I hear and see her. And I asked her last night, because I thought it would be quite cute to say, is there something I can ask that you would like me to ask Carlos? She said, ask him what inspires him most.
Well, that's a great question. Mm-hmm. The fuel, which is inspiration, for me has always been drummers. Since I can remember, I always been, when I go see a band, I check out the drummer first. Mm-hmm. Even when I was before junior high school, I'm always looking at the drummer, man, because, he's the igniter, It is true. A band is only as good as the drummer.
Got it.
If you have a okay drummer, then you're an okay band, So I love drummers so much, I married one, and I married a drumstress that loves Tony Williams, Art Blakey, Alvin Jones, Buddy Rich. She loves the Cats. Mm-hmm. And when I hear drummers, I'm always listening to the right hand, or because there's melodies here, mm-hmm. and I'm a melody man. I'm always looking for a, because the more they go like this, the drummers up and down, the more I go like that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which is like what I learned from Miles, counter motion. Mm-hmm. If somebody plays staccato, you play legato.
Got it.
Legato is the melody that is connected to infinity. Whether it's Billie Holiday, Coltrane, or Miles, the way, or Marvin Gaye. Beep, beep, beep. Do. That note is connected with the umbilical cord of infinity. And if you play music like that, now you have captivated the listener and pull them out of their own existence into your existence. Which is like, I think I learned that from Hubie Blake. He says, they ask him something, and he says, what do you say to people? Da-da-da-da. He goes, I tell them, if you just listen, I got you. Mm-hmm. And so I said, I want that kind of conviction, determination, and clarity. Not arrogance, but a divine determination that what you got, people need.
Yeah, that's right.
Whether it's James Brown or man, you got to say it in the mirror. I got something people need. Why? Because God implanted in me. He imbued me with it.
Yes.
You know, those are real musicians. Because real musicians elevate people into a whole other existence about themselves. Man.
I want to pick up on something you just said about the ride cymbal in particular, because I noticed when I worked with Joe Zawinul, he was really clear to it. Make sure when it's time for me to solo, you play the ride cymbal. So I'm picking up on what you're saying about there's melody in the ride cymbal.
Yeah. He called me Melody Man.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
My brother Joe Zawinul, he was like, you're the Melody Man, man. A lot of people don't know how to carry a melody and make it come alive. But that's your gift, Santana. When you play a melody, man, you know, very few musicians, very few musicians can just play a melody. You just pure like that. And the audience go, I can't talk to you right now, man. This melody got me, you know. And so, because melodies captivate you, you know. And so Sketches of Spain, ballads, John Coltrane, you know, Johnny Hartman, you know, melodies. Yeah, you know, listening to the Tintindeo, you know, I'm hearing like Elvin, and I'm hearing, you know, you or Buddy Rich or, you know, Tony, and I'm listening to this. I mean, I know all this other stuff is incredible, but this for me is my GBS.
Wow.
You know, that's what tells me, okay, you're not going to run out of things to play. See, some musicians, once they play what they know, then they play it again faster. But it's the same thing. Okay. But they just, or louder. They, you know, and the real musicians, they slow it down. You know, like Charlie Parker, Coltrane, they can play fast, they can play slow, they can play it all. But when you hear what they're playing, that story takes you outside your body, you know, and like Stevie Ray, you know, like Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yes.
You're watching them, and Jimi Hendrix, you're listening to them, and you still can't freaking believe it. Because they're like a force of nature, like a tornado, hurricane, or, you know, and that's Coltrane, you know, that's Mahavishnu, you know, that's Tony Williams. You know, certain musicians, when they play, people just shake their heads and they go, oh my God. Because they know how to manifest on the spot absoluteness in one beat or one groove or one note, man, you know. Now, I know some people roll their eyes and they go, you know, Santana, you know, but there's a video with Stevie Ray talking about, man, Santana's right. Carlos is right, man. One time I was playing a concert and I got so into my guitar, man. I got so into my thing that I opened my eyes and I saw me, Stevie Ray Vaughan, sitting on the balcony looking at me playing some shit I don't know how to do.
Yes. Yes.
And the ones that I love is when they're drooling. You know, like when I see Elvin Jones and he's taking a solo and he's just like, it's just like drooling saliva all over himself. And I go, that's how I want to play. I want to be so free that I just drool on my own stuff, man. Because that means it's really good.
That's right.
You know, if you don't drool on yourself and you don't give yourself chills, you need to work on your music.
Let me ask you, just right to the heart of it, your love of melody, your childhood. When do you first remember melody hitting your heart so romantically, so deeply?
My father, he taught me how to play the violin, how to hold it, how to do everything before I even put the bow on the string. How to, you know, put it in here, how to grab the bow, how to, you know. And then when he goes, two songs that he taught me, Fascination, dee-doo-dee-doo-doo, you know. The other one was like, it'll come back to me. I was just thinking about it in a second. Dee-dee-dee-doo-doo-dee, doo-doo-doo-doo-dee, dee-da, dee-da-dee, dee-doo-dee, doo-ee-ah. Now, when you play a melody like that and you're in front of Eric Clapton or Peter Green or Michael Bloomfield or B.B. King, Freddie King, Albert King, they look at you and they go, oh, hey, Santana, what was that? What was that that you're playing? I'm combining it all, man. I'm hearing Monk with Mozart, you know. There's a way to amalgamate everybody that you love and make it sound like you.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But melody, if you learn how to, Wayne said to someone, I won't say who because that would not be nice, but he said to someone, you know, notes are like people. You must visit them once in a while. You know? And I was like, oh. So as a musician, take a deep breath, take your time, go outside your body, and when you play your music, really visit that note. Because that's what people are going to remember when they leave the concert.
That's right.
Not the lights, not the academics, not 50 dancers. No. They're going to remember the melody. That's what they take home with.
Well, this is what we love about you as well, that you have the power, and you've mastered the power of being able to hold lightning in your hand. When you hold those notes the way you do and cry the way you do, you're a master of the cry.
Oh, thank you so much, Narada. You know, I still listen to every day to Albert Collins, Albert King, John McLaughlin, Paco de Lucia, you know, Manitas de Plata. You know, I listen to musicians that their fingers tell stories of eternity. They tell stories that forever hang in infinity, man. And that's what turns me on is musicians who don't play the flavor of the second. They play forever, you know. And I'm always looking for them with Stevie Winwood, you know, with Traffic or, you know, right now I am so fascinated with The Doors and Traffic in 69, 70. I mean, I can't tell you, man, how much it turns me on to hear the chords, the bass lines, you know, even the screams from Jim Morrison. There's something about this music that if I was a 12-year-old, I would have to dip myself into The Doors and Traffic to find my way towards Coltrane and Charlie Parker.
Got it. Right. Well, that's my question now then. If you were to give advice to a young Carlos, a young 16-year-old Carlos coming up now at this time, what advice would you give to these young kids who are looking for their way, and yet you find so much inspiration in 69? What about now in this time?
Stay on one note, you know, and clock yourself. You know, get a watch, put it on, clock yourself like in 30 seconds. How many times can you give yourself chills in 30 seconds? And all is fair. You don't have to tell me what you're thinking. It can be anything, you know. But can you ignite, you know, your hair to stand out from the back of your neck? You know, can you ignite your body to give yourself chicken skin chills, you know, all of that, you know. If you don't know how to give yourself chills at least 7 times in 30 seconds, maybe you should do something different as a profession. You know, because real musicians know how to ignite and transmogrify your molecular structure.
7 times in 30 seconds is beautiful.
You know, like, you know, and like I said, you don't have to tell me what it is, because sometimes it could be, you know, not for PG, you know. It can be anything and everything that arouses you to. My favorite part in being alive is the last 5 minutes of 4th of July and New Year's Eve, the fireworks. Because you know the last 5 minutes, they're gonna give it to you all, man. It's gonna, you know, that's the climax that I want in my life. Whether you're making love or eating food or playing music, live your life with the exuberance and the energy, exaltation, and of the last 3, 4, 5 minutes of 4th of July and New Year's Eve fireworks. Man, you know, because you play it like that.
I love it.
You play it like that. Every time I seen you and hear you, you play it like that.
Oh, thank you.
You know?
Thank you.
And people going to go home going, damn. Damn. Whew. Yeah, that's why I got the jacket today, man. Stevie Ray, you know.
I know. Well, to me, Stevie Ray Vaughan, I never actually met him, but I respect him as genius, and I also respect that he so loved Jimmy. I know you so love Jimmy as well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
There's a story you tell about Hendrix. I don't know if I could ask you to tell this story, and I'll refer to the one I'm speaking about, where you're in New York and you go to the studio, and he's playing with his back to everybody, up against the amps, and then the tape runs out, and then Eddie and you go in to talk to him or try to tap him on the shoulder.
Well, you know, we both arrived at the studio at the same time. I was with Devin, his lady, and he was with another lady. And he got out of the cab first, and then he paid my cab. And he opened the door, and he says, Santana, right? I said, yeah. He says, I love your choice of notes, man.
Right.
I was like, oh, thank you. You know, just that. I love your choice of notes.
Right.
You know, so then we went in, and they were cutting a room full of mirrors.
Okay.
And when his back was against us because, you know, he was singing and playing his guitar. And to be in the studio, I said to Devin, you sure you want me to come to this session? Because, you know, when I record, I don't like too many people in the studio, man. It's kind of like a private thing for me, you know. She goes, oh, don't be a square, man. Jimmy loves it. When Jimmy plays, it's a party, man. It's going on. You know, come on. And so I was watching this and hearing this energy, like I said, whether it's like Jimmy or Stevie Ray, this energy, after a while, what he played was outside of the song. And the engineer, which I believe it was Eddie Kramer, you know, they all looked at each other and they said, uh-oh. Mm-hmm. You know, this has nothing to do with the song anymore. He's just like a Nova going, you know, and he's a slide guitar and feedback and everything. And I was like, whoa. It was the equivalent of almost watching somebody have an epileptic attack. You know, and I was like, whoa, damn. And when he finally turned around to see us, his eyes were red like your shirt, man. And he was foaming at the mouth. And it was like, I'm not exaggerating, he was like totally possessed. And I've seen him play before, live, but not up close like that. And not into such a intensity that he bypassed the song. You know, it's like what he's playing don't fit anymore with this track or any track. He went nuclear, atomic, sonic, you know, and I was like, whoa. You know, it messed me up for about a year, you know, in my head because I couldn't pinpoint someone like Jimmy like that or Coltrane. And I've seen, you know, McCoy go there. Certain people go outside into this absoluteness. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, there's no school to teach you that. You know, there's for you to ignite yourself like that, you're literally playing outside of your body. Something else is playing you now, you know, and I think that's why people go to church, because they want that Holy Ghost, the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost to take over your physicality and your mentality, and so I cherish that Jimmy at that evening showed me that there is a way, you know, to manifest the highest and the deepest in such a way that it's not scales and notes anymore, and it's just a whole other kind of frequency. That's really what it is. It's a frequency, you know. I hear it a lot, you know, from Alice Coltrane, and I hear it from John Coltrane, the song called Creation, you know, Leo, you know, and those are the songs that they're not for the masses, because most of the mass people, where everybody hangs out, they need ballads, or they need sketches of Spain, you know. But when Coltrane started going sonic, ultrasonic, and multidimensional, universal, and the guy who for me started that stuff, even before Jimmy, was Sun Ra.
Right. I know about Sun Ra.
That's the guy. You know, because of Sun Ra, you got McCoy, you have Pete Cozy, you have Larry Young, you have, of course, John Gilmore, and you have, you know, Ornette Coleman. You know, you have people who it's like they're playing 5, 7 different songs at the same time with different signatures and everything, but it all fits like that. You know, like all the songs, and they go like that, and you go, whoa, that's a different kind of galactic music. Okay, that's not for everybody, but I'm sure there's a top 10 outside this planet. You know, that's a different kind of top 10, you know, with a bullet, you know. And so I learned, you know, about frequency just by being in this planet and wanting to, you know, first you start with, you know, Jimi Hendrix and Cream and, you know, Peter Green and Led Zeppelin and AC/DC. And then you realize that all of them are listening to R. Blakey.
Wow.
And Tony Williams.
Wow.
And Elvin Jones. All the drummers from Europe and the guitar players, they're listening to American music. The Freddie King, Albert King, B.B. King, Albert Collins. I know because I listen to the same thing, and I'm from Tijuana, you know? and so you have to, you know, right now my instructions, Narada, where I am, is to have acceptance from above and expand.
Right.
Acceptance
from above.
and expand. That's what's happening. That's my my GPS right now.
Okay,
those
so
are my instructions.
let's focus on that, because that's so beautiful. When you say acceptance, we want people to understand that. What are we accepting?
Something bigger than you. You know, God and I are one, though He's better than I am. You know, Christ consciousness is what Jesus attained. There's Jesus and Christ consciousness. And then you have primitive Christianity, which is not necessarily that good for you.
Okay.
Because primitive Christianity is what people call dogma.
Yeah.
And they sell in you fear.
Oh, I understand.
You know,
I understand.
your way, or you're going to go to hell forever because you don't, you know, believe what I believe. And like, well, that doesn't sound spiritual. Spiritual is for the highest good of all, not just for primitive Christianity, you know? And as a musician, it's important for me to share this information, you know, because for me, music is the living water that when I was doing this interview with Anderson Cooper, he wanted to know, and he looked at me like, "I want that. How did you get that? How do I get that? I want that, you know." And I said, "Spend more time in your heart than in your mind, and you will find the language, the new language." That, see, most people who work on CNN or all the other TV things, they just read the teleprompter, and somebody else wrote for what for them to read, and they paid to promote and broadcast fear. That's what it is, you know. And then you have people who, what I call shamans,
Yes.
who are deeper, higher than computers, satellites, and all that. They have this oneness with the Creator, and that language is not about fear. It's about the opposite of fear. It's about joy,
Right.
the joy of understanding absoluteness.
It's your aspiration to have a gathering in Las Vegas for all shamans. Is that correct?
Yeah. You know, on the way over here, I was thinking about you, and I said, you know, please remember to mention to Narada something that we both learned from Switching Moy, which is some people believe according to their achievements,
Yes.
and some people achieve according to their beliefs. Very different, two different frequencies, you know. And so what I wanted to say about Switching Moy is when he said that someone said, "God, you didn't give me the mind to understand it, you know, absoluteness. And you didn't give me the mind to understand it, you know." And God says, "But I gave you the heart to comprehend."
That's right.
You know? And that to me is really important when I was with Switching Moy and with you and John McLaughlin and all of our brothers. I learned from Switching Moy a different language of light that serves me to this day.
Yes.
You know, a lot of musicians go through trials and tribulations in their lives in all kinds of ways. Somehow, like Walter Payton, I learned to go through it and penetrate and find the opening to get to the goal line. You know, I learned from running backs. You know, I learned from the Raiders and Chicago Bears and the 49ers. I learned about mastering what Cindy does so well, the 3 Ds: discipline, devotion, and dedication.
Discipline,
Devotion, dedication. That will always give you glaring, incredible results in life.
Love it.
You will be profitable, you will be lucrative, and you will have success.
I love it. Bring it on. Bring it on. I love it. Okay, I want to go back a bit now, if you don't mind. When I first heard you, I would be in Kalamazoo, Michigan at Western Michigan University, and the sound of the first Santana album was powerful with the brothers. Maybe they smoke a little weed, whatever. That was their music. I was like, what is this?
It wasn't a little weed, man. It was
a lot of weed. Okay, fine. But that was their music. That's how I first got hip to what was going on. And, of course, the African percussion vibes, the Latin, the burning guitar.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, man, this is a new thing. Can I ask any feeling you may have about that period of your music?
Yes, you know, because like I was emailing this conversation with Eric Clapton, and he was saying that he sent me a song by Eddie Harris, Sham Time.
Okay.
You know, and he says, "Man, Carlos, one time I was in this place and Eddie Harris invited me to come on stage and sit in, and it was Eddie Harris and Dizzy Gillespie, and to this day I regret, you know, that I didn't have the confidence and courage to go up there and sit in with Eddie Harris, and I would give anything and everything in my life to rewind the clock and go back in there and sit in with him on stage, you know."
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, that's funny, Eric, because I was with Eddie Harris in Africa, you know, and he was right next to me in this restaurant, and I said, 'Hey, Eddie, why don't we jam on your song? Listen here, you know. I mean, can we do a jam? You know? And he goes, oh no, Santana, that's not going to happen. I go, what do you mean? Why not? He goes, you're not going to kick my ass on my own song, man.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, wait a minute, you know, I'm not into kicking anybody's ass, man. I just want to jam and compliment and go, no, it's not going to happen. You're not going to kick my ass on my own song, you know? So there's two different sides of the spectrum, you know? My innocence, man, is to jump on stage with Larry Correal or John McLaughlin or Buddy Guy, you know, and not be afraid of, do I fit in or, you know, just jump in the pool and get wet, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, you did. Look at how you zoomed ahead and made an album with John McLaughlin. Love, Devotion, Surrender. You and Mahavishnu coming together. Powerful album. Billy Cobham and Larry Young and my Lord. Talk about being fearless. That's like the deep end.
Yeah, you know, people who were coming around back then was Tommy Bolin.
Yeah.
You know, and he was checking it out in Chicago, and they were all coming around, you know, because they knew that, you know, John and I, we had this camaraderie, you know, and we both, the commonality is John Coltrane. Always. That's what we did at Love Supreme, and then we closed with Let Us Go Into the House of the Lord, you know, which is Pharoah Sanders. It's fun to imagine that you can go from being a Mexican dishwasher and dream that you can be on stage with Albert King or Etta James or John Lee Hooker or Mahavishnu. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it's fun not thinking that it's blues or jazz or this or that, man. It's just life.
Yes.
Play it.
Yeah, play it.
Just play life, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Mm-hmm. And I always remember when I was at the Panhandle in Haight-Ashbury, and I'm playing Jingo, and I'm closing my eyes and hitting that note, you know, and I open my eyes, and I'm playing Jingo and Mary Poppins, do 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 do, you know, from the Wes Montgomery version, and I open my eyes, and I see Jerry Garcia and Michael Bloomfield, and they're both cracking up, man, looking at me with approval. But they like what they're hearing. And I go, oh my God, it's Jerry Garcia and Michael Bloomfield, and they're drinking from my well.
Mm-hmm. They're loving you.
You know? Mm-hmm. So I'm talking about things that give you confidence. And that's what it's all about, man. Hanging around with Alice Coltrane, Turiya, confidence. You know, hanging around with Richard Moy, hanging around with Eric or Jeff Beck or Jimmy Page, confidence that then when it's your time to step up, step forward and play, they shake their heads and they go, damn.
Yes, yes.
You know, this cat is one of us.
Yes.
And that's what Alice Coltrane said to me. Walk like a giant, because you're one of us.
Beautiful.
That's what she said to me. And I was like, whoa.
Pivotal, because Alice Coltrane's album, Universal Consciousness, is just it. And that when you made your album with Turiya, it was it. Beautiful depth of spirit. I'm so happy you worked with her.
Man, to be in the same studio with Jack the Jeanette, Armando Pedaza, and Dave Holland, and Alice Coltrane, you know, so I was so into life, I didn't have time to have self-doubt or insecurity. You know, I knew that whatever I got is going to fit one way or the other. It's because my intentions, motives, and purpose is to complement. You know? So having the clarity with that, your energy is, here it is welcome. You know, B.B. King always, every time he told me, hey, Santana, come on, man, you're welcome. Come, hey, you know, Buddy Guy, hey, you know. It's one of the greatest honors, man, is to be invited on stage, you know, whether it's anyone, man, Jeff Beck, or, you know, if Wes Montgomery was here, he would invite me, you know, and it gives me great satisfaction and contentment to believe that there's a place in the sun, like Stevie Wonder. You know, that's the song that they should play a lot on the radio. Do dee do dee do dee do dee 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 do do dee dee do dee dee do do. Gotta find me a place in the sun.
Oh yes, great.
You know, those are the songs that we need today to bring unity, harmony, and totality and divinity in this planet.
Beautiful. I love it.
It's not about being Republican or Democrat. Small potatoes. Be your totality.
That's it. Be your totality. I love it. This all remind me of a moment I want you to share with our listeners that really touches my heart. It's a moment in your life that really helped you make your decision. Speak about when you were washing dishes, went to go see B.B. King, and that night that changed your life.
Whoa. I played B.B. King records so long in Tijuana, man, and in San Francisco. I call him the white whale.
Oh, okay.
He's Moby Dick. You know, when a white whale sticks out of the ocean, it's different than the other whales. I was like, whoa, B.B. King is, you know, I love all of them. Otis Rush and Buddy Guy and all of them. There's something about B.B. from 63 to 71. That B.B. is a certain side of Miles, like what Wallace Rooney was into, and what Peter Green was into from B.B. King. Anyway, so I went to see Otis Rush,
Okay.
Steve Miller,
Yeah.
and B.B. King.
Okay.
And B.B. King had just gotten booed like a week before because he was playing blues to a black audience, and they booed him because they didn't want to hear it. They wanted to hear, you know, I guess to some people that was not what was happening anymore, you know, so they were actually heard that they actually booed him, you know. And so he walks up to the Fillmore, and Otis Rush burned, and Steve Miller burned, you know. But here comes B.B. King, and he gets a standing ovation before he hit the first note. Everybody, Bill Graham, everybody's like, oh my God. And I'm still living with my mom and my sisters and brothers. And I'm looking at BB, and the light was like right on him. And all I could see was diamond tears falling out of his eyes and a diamond ring that said BB King. BB King, diamond rings, you know. So he's going like this, wiping his tears. And I'm looking at this light shining, man, like rainbows from his tears and the diamonds in it. And then he hit the note. Man, he hit that note that if you listen to Live at the Regal in Chicago, that B.B. King, sit down and just listen. That B.B. King right there. Everybody, man, me, I'm sorry to start with me first, but Otis Rush, Buddy Guy, Peter Green, Tommy Castro, everybody was into BB because at that time BB had the keys. He had the keys, man. Until Albert showed up with Born Under a Bad Sign with that album. And that one's like Stand Back, man, you know. But that B.B. King, that day, I went home and I actually saw Otis Rush on the way out. And I said, man, you were incredible. And he looked at me and he goes, oh, thank you, but I got such a long way to go. I go, damn, if he has a long way to go, I better get started. You know, and that prompted me to leave my mom and my house. B.B. King that day and Bill Graham, propelled me to have the courage to live in the streets and go get my own story, go get my own music. Because I was just basically a weekend musician. I was washing dishes, and on the weekend I would play music. But after seeing B.B. King that day, it's like he grabbed me like this.
Yeah.
And it's time for Santana.
So let's just go there for just a moment again, because I love it. You make your first album with your great band with Michael Shreve. We got to mention his name.
Yeah, Michael.
I mean, you have a great band. You're Greg on the organ singing and carrying on, and David on bass, and I just want to putting all that together, making your move, and the success that comes to you pretty quickly. Can you speak about how it changes your life, or what it does to your life?
The beginning of it was like the blessing of being united with Greg Raleigh, Michael Carabello, Greg Raleigh, and Michael Shreves, Dave Brown, Chapito, each one a supreme teacher. I never went to college because I couldn't afford it. I was washing dishes when everybody was doing this stuff. But I surmised that being in college is like being in a dormitory. In every room, you hear music from different people. Like Greg Raleigh was sent to the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. Michael Shreves was sent to Coltrane and Miles. Carabello, he sent to, Willie Bobo, Eddie Palmieri, Jimi Hendrix, and Sly Stone.
Right, okay.
So every room that I went was an education for me. I'm coming from John Lee Hooker and B.B. King. So next thing I know, I'm checking out Lee Morgan and, because of Michael Shreves. So that's how Santana has always been an amalgamation of those that we love, Bill Graham prepared us and prepared me mentally for the unexpected. He says, look, something's happening. A lot of people are hitting the brick wall. Jim Morrison and Jimi Hendrix and Janis and Sly and all that. And he says they're reaching a point of almost their demise because they can't handle success at this level. When people see you in the streets and they recognize you and they start saying, oh, man, you must be God. Like they said to Eric Clapton, oh, you must be God. Oh, you must be God. Oh, you must be God. Sly Stone or Jimi Hendrix, That puts a thing of a pressure on you as a human being that unless you dedicate yourself to devotion of humility, like we did with Switch and Moy, it's going to mess you up. It's going to mess you up because your head gets so big, you need a shoehorn to get into a room. Your ego is so big that you can't hear the music anymore.
Right.
You start worrying about other people thinking that, what is Santana going to do now? Because they want to copy Santana. Man, to this day, there must be like 60 to 70, almost 100 tribute Santana bands all over the world.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and I'm like, Soul Sacrifice and Caravanserai, and it's a great compliment, But back then, Bill Graham is the one that told us, you need to deal with this, otherwise it's going to mess you up, man.
Okay.
It's almost like a career suicide. And I said, well, I'm going to commit real career suicide then. I'm going to abandon this trajectory thing with Santana and go into Caravanserai, welcome, hang around with John McLaughlin and Turi Alice Coltrane and change my diet, change my look, I don't want to be a has-been rock star.
Right.
As soon as you become a rock star, you're a has-been anyway.
Okay.
I'd rather be a child, not childish, a child that can go into any playground where they have a bucket and a shovel and some sand and hang around there with Wayne Shorter, you know? And so what saved me from the excess of drugs and this and that, you know, was my pursuit of discipline. At that time with Deborah, you know, we pursued learning about Paramahansa Yogananda.
Right, right.
You know, Vivekananda and Ramakrishna and Sri Chinmoy. And so I learned, we both learned about Eastern philosophy. And, like George Harrison, you know. Those musicians who embrace that, they're still around, though their body may not be, but they're still around.
The sound, the music, the songs.
Yeah, they're not ghosts on a jukebox. You know, they're vibrant right now. You know, so I'm very, very grateful, man, that my mother is the one that instilled in me that thing that says, that is not for you. Eso no es para ti, which means cocaine or heroin or anything like that. That's not for you. Eso no es para ti. You know, so when I'm in that place and she's not around and they close the door and people go to the bathroom to do that, and I hear that voice, that is not for you. You know? And I was like, oh, okay. So whatever and you're a parent, whatever you tell your children right now, it's almost like you tattoo their psyche.
Right, right.
So when they're teenagers and they know more than you do,
yes, of course,
and they're in the wrong place with the wrong people, what you said is going to come back and resonate on them, and they go, I can't do that because my daddy told me that shit's no good for me. I was born to greatness, not my demise.
Well, let's talk about this because we have our heroes. Muhammad Ali is my hero.
Yeah.
You're my hero. Mahavishnu. You guys got this courageous power. You stand up against the odds. Look at Muhammad, fought against everything. You know, I'm not going to Vietnam. Kill me if you have to. We saw that. We saw Martin Luther King. We saw all these things you've seen. Where are we now? Where are we now? What's the message for now?
The message for now is embrace your absoluteness. Trust your divinity. Then the rules is the feeling that counts, John Coltrane. And by God's grace, I can do the impossible, which means put my ego on a leash and surrender to God and say, not my will, but your will be done. You know, I trust that when I play, 99% is you. The 1% is me. And that me is going to defer to you, you know. And when we finish playing, you and I, people all around going to shake their heads and go, that's just not possible. You know, that's what I get from Billie Holiday. That's what I get from Otis Redding. I love singers, you know. I love drummers and singers, you know. And where we are today is we need to invite the world to get over yourself, man. Stop playing the victim mentality and blaming this and blaming them and blaming that. You know, look in the mirror and say, I am worthy of my own light, and I will not play the victim card on the table. I will be triumph, victory, glory.
Yes, yes.
You know, if that's too much for you, then it's okay, man. Mm-hmm. Go in your own frequency and play it out. Mm-hmm. But to me, the victim mentality is very boring, predictable, and pathetic. Mm-hmm. I don't like victim blues. Mm-hmm. I like blues like Ravi Shankar and Ali Akbar Khan and flamenco blues, you know, Pavarotti blues, you know, and Placido Domingo. You know, I like the kind of blues that is not pity-patty. It's not pour me a drink. You know, not that kind of thing. So it's important as a musician to say to the masses, this is not about Republican or Democrat or anything like that, man. This is about, let us celebrate our collective awakening.
Oh, beautiful.
Our divinity, man. We really are one.
That's right.
All is one, whether you like it or not.
Yes.
You know?
And this is your new album, Miracles and Blessings.
Yes.
Anything you want to say about miracles in your life at this time and blessings?
Thank you. You know, miracles and blessings, there are two wings that everyone has, you know, and to be able to participate in this CD, Blessings and Miracles, with you and Stevie Winwood, you know, out of nowhere, I hear this song. I said, Stevie, you got to sing this song, man. White Shade of Pale, you know. And he looked at me. He wouldn't even look at me, you know. He just kept looking straight ahead, you know. And because there was no Kobe yet. I mean, I got right in his face, man. I was right here, you know. And I said, hey, Stevie, I hear you doing White Shade of Pale, man. You playing Hammond organ and singing. I'm playing guitar, but we're gonna do it African, Cuban, Puerto Rican, Wajida style, very, very sexy. And then he finally looked at me and he goes, oh, I hear it.
You caught him.
I hear it.
You caught him.
I says, so we go, let's call Narada, you know. And so to work like that and then being with you in the studio, and we get this phone call from Diane Warren, you know. Half of the people in this album I have yet to meet in person.
Okay.
You know, Chris Stapleton, you know, and Ollie Brooks, you know. I mean, but what I'm talking about, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that it's possible for any musician to open your heart and allow God to put in front of you other artists who want to share their own brilliantness with you. That's what it's about.
Right. I was surprised that when I met you, that you're so humble. You can do these things that are rarefied air, but yet you're a very humble person.
Oh, thank you.
You
Doc.
really are, man. And you're very generous. You're extremely generous.
Listen, man, when I heard you with John McLaughlin and you guys were playing the Apocalypse,
Yes.
you know, and you guys playing with the symphony and everything, and I'm hearing, I mean, and here you are following, not really following, but being an extension of Tony Williams and Billy Cobham, and here comes you, you know, and you're playing this other music with John McLaughlin that is galactic, like Alice Coltrane, you know, and I can hear the strings, you know, and the whole thing's happening, you know, and I'm watching you, hearing you guys at the Winterland.
Yes, okay. Live, okay.
You know, and see, there's a part of me who still feels like I'm a 7-year-old child that's still learning how to grab the guitar and squeeze some nice and beautiful notes out of it, you know, and I'm still that child that doesn't know anything other than trust that God in my light will see me through, you know. And I'm watching you, man, and John McLaughlin, and I'm watching Weather Report, and I'm watching Miles, and I'm watching, and like, you know. When Caravanserai came out, man, a lot of people, musicians I love, from Chick Corea to everybody, man, were like, yeah, Santana, you heard me? That's the way, man, you know? And I was like, wow, man, Michael Shreve and I, we did good.
Right.
You know,
right.
we venture into Leon Thomas and Weather Report, and, you know, and so it goes on right now. I'm 74, almost 75. But I'm still that child that is thirsty for adventure, is thirsty to express the inexpressible.
Right. Well, that's your God gift.
You know,
That's where all this music keeps pouring out of you from.
and make it sound totally new, completely familiar.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I want to play music, man, that they can play in jukeboxes in Laredo and El Paso and Tijuana, the border towns. You know, dee 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 doo dee. Dee dee. You makes you want to go, yeehaw! You know, people don't know I can freaking play country music. I grew up in Tijuana.
That's it.
You know, it's a border town. You know, I can hang with Chris Stapleton. You know, and compliment. I can hang with Willie Nelson, and we did that. You know, with Havana Moon. You know, and we all went to Mexico. You know, and Booker T. You know, so for me at this point where I am, is never rehashing anything.
Right.
It's always about discovering a new way to express totality.
And I love also how you say to me, we don't leave anybody out.
That's Sri Chinmoy again. He said, God made the world round so we can all have center stage, one. And God made a circle of love so vast, no one can stand outside. You know, when Nelson Mandela was still in jail, you know, we used to say no one is free until we're all free, you know. And so we played songs back then for Nelson Mandela and Mr. Desmond Tutu, you know, and we've been, on one hand, you know, you learn from Tito Puente and B.B. King and everybody. On the other hand, you learn from Mother Teresa, Dolores Huerta, and Cesar Chavez, and Martin Luther King. That's who Santana is. It's like that.
That's right.
You know,
Wide.
it's like you talk about Muhammad Ali. You
Yes.
know, I'm not just a musician. I'm a light worker.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Like you, I'm a light worker, man. You know, we work with light. We sculpture it, and I can say it like this, because of Bob Marley, myself, and other musicians, we brought the Berlin Wall down.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Ronald Reagan took the credit, but we're the ones that did it. You know, and some people might get a little upset when they read this. Tough titty. You know, musicians, because people over there, they're clamoring to get what people were getting at the Fillmore.
That's right.
You know, they you know, this regime of, you know, the whole world wants the best of the United States, and that is our music.
But you also, you travel this world. You've gone it so much that you spread the music. You've taken it. You played it. You've done it so much. I don't know anyone who's done it more than you. I don't.
Well, we're just starting.
Okay.
We're just beginning. You know,
Okay.
having this connection with you, man. I have confidence that I can come here with you and manifest something that Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix, they gave us a standing ovation. I know. Because we are them now, and we continue to break ground, new ground. You know, the new album that I want to create is going to be called God Self.
Okay.
God-Self. What does that mean? You know, Christ consciousness. You know, God and I are one. You know, He's greater than I am, but He's still my dad. He's my daddy. You know, and He gives him great delight in sharing the keys with me.
Yes.
You know, so I'm a multidimensional spirit, just like you. You know, and I look forward to doing things with you again very, very soon. You know, I thank you for this. I believe that this interview, I call it sharing spiritual data
That's right.
and schematics to a new existence.
Schematics. I love it. Okay. Okay. Cool. Well, there's so much I have that we can get into, but I'm really happy you made it here today to share with us your love and to also inspire us with a new thought of how to eat better with Plant Strong, which we're all about. In fact, when we were with Guru's Path, we were vegetarian all those years.
Yeah.
That was Plant.
That's right.
You know.
That's right. And that's why we're here at this age looking the way we look.
Yeah, it helped us a lot.
Yeah, we look pretty good,
I know, man.
for our age, man.
God bless you. Love you. In closing, is there anything that you'd like to say to us in closing today?
Well, in closing is we say, behold, God has for you abundance of creativity, positive possibilities, and abundance of light and love. And with that, you're Picasso, you're Stravinsky, you're Coltrane, you're Miles. You know, God has for you what he gave them, which is what? Creativity and the joy, the enthusiasm to manifest the highest. And now, you know, have fun. Live your life to the fullest and enjoy life to the fullest.
Beautiful. Thank you, brother.
Amen. Thank you.
Love you so much.
Love you so much.
Okay. Hey, everybody. This is your brother, Narada Michael Walden. Just so happy at the conclusion of this wonderful interview with the genius, legendary musician, guitarist, light worker, Carlos Santana, my brother. What an educational time we've had speaking about life and the pursuit of happiness and positivity. And there are so many things that we didn't get into, so we're going to meet around another part 2 again. But I just want to say, anyone takes time to hear this great interview today will have an enlightened life. Carlos is giving us the knockout punch of how to have a beautiful, positive, and fun life. We want to thank everybody for today. God bless you. Love you. Stay tuned to our podcast for the futures. All In with Narada Michael Walden. We're going to have coming up a Herbie Hancock and a bunch of the cats that we all love and admire to wax profound. Bye-bye.